Hello everyone and welcome to my CBS Soaps official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Wednesday, October 15, 2025. Today on The Young and the Restless, Claire stands her ground, Victoria and Nate grow closer, and Nick arrives in LA as Noah emerges from surgery. At a cafe in Los Angeles, Claire's not exactly happy to see Kyle appear with a bouquet of flowers. Frowning, she asks, "What are you doing here?" Kyle claims he flew all the way there just to bring her flowers. After she pries it out of him that Victoria revealed where she was staying, Kyle gets right to the manipulation and takes Claire on a guilt trip over Harrison's nightmare. "He wants you to come back." Kyle feels like he drove her to make this mistake. Claire narrows her eyes and reminds him that she needs space. She needs him to understand this and respect it. Turning a tad nasty, Kyle snaps, "You look like you had a late night." Claire gawps. She says she had a great night and loves LA. Kyle tries to make plans with her and she tells him she's busy. "Holden is showing me around town. He's a really good tour guide." She says, "Go home, Kyle," but he keeps harping about Novik. Suddenly, Holden walks in as Claire says, "I made my choice." Kyle informs Holden that he interrupted a private conversation and tries to get rid of him. Claire tells her ex-boyfriend there's nothing else to say, but he guilts her into asking Holden to give them a little more time. Impatient, Claire asks Kyle what he wants to say. He whines that he wishes she felt she could do this journey with him instead of a guy like Holden Novik. Victoria arrives at Crimson Lights and Nate asks her to join him. She seems upset. She tells him about Noah's car accident and shares her worry for Nick and Sharon. Switching gears, Nate tells Victoria that he and Amy are making a major donation to Memorial in Damien's name. She was thinking of something similar for Cole, who is grateful to Claire's psychiatric team. Her daughter is also in Los Angeles, but she'd prefer she was home. Nate gets up to speed on Claire breaking up with Kyle. They touch on his split with Audra, which hasn't been easy, but he's focused on helping Amy. Victoria asks if he'll change his mind. He claims he won't. Victoria says Claire tried with Kyle but couldn't get there. She's worried about her daughter acting out with Holden Novik. Nate's not a fan of the guy. He's not sure he can be trusted. Victoria says Kyle feels the same way and admits she told Kyle where to find her daughter. She's not sure it was the right decision. They discuss whether Claire might want to go see her cousin Noah in the hospital. Nick and Sharon might appreciate that. Nate's sure everything will work out for the best. Victoria admires his positive thinking. She just hopes she didn't cause more trouble for Claire by sending Kyle her way. In Los Angeles, Nick finds Sharon asleep in the hospital waiting room. She cries, "Oh, Nick," and he holds her. She tells him Noah's in surgery. There's been a lot of trauma to his face and skull from the accident. He's been unconscious. Sharon becomes upset over falling asleep and tells Nick, "I don't think I can do this. Not again." Sharon wails, "Why does this keep happening to them?" Nick vows they won't lose their boy and reminds her she's not alone. He starts grilling her about the accident. Sharon says the police told her he lost control and landed in a ravine. He was alone and she doesn't know who found him. As Sharon breaks down about why it's taking so long, Nick goes to find answers. A nurse appears and tells Sharon that Noah, out of surgery and will be moved to a room soon. She texts Nick and cries, "My boy is okay," thanking God and hoping he'll be okay. She sobs, "Save our baby, I'm asking you for a miracle, please." When Nick reappears, Sharon's composed and updates him. They go over Faith staying behind to look after Christian, and Allie still being overseas, but being keeping updated on the group chat with Summer and Faith. In the cafe in Los Angeles, Kyle keeps complaining about Claire choosing to do her journey with Holden and not him. Claire defends it as her choice and warns him to leave it alone. She informs him that he's behaving in a controlling manner. His actions are reinforcing why they shouldn't be together right now. Kyle, thick as a brick, whines some more about Holden. Claire snaps that he's a friend and what she needs is distance from Kyle. The abbot admits he's terrified that if he doesn't fight for her, aka stalk her, she'll think the love he has for her is gone. Claire softens a little. Kyle will stay at the hotel in case she changes her mind about spending time together. They snap a selfie for Harrison and Kyle exits. Holden appears and asks if Claire's okay. Claire complains about Kyle surprising her and following her there. Novik thinks Kyle is still in love with her. He understands why. If she's upset about being there with him, he understands. Claire, touching Holden's chest, says she has no regrets at all. In Crimson Lights, Victoria leaves a message asking Claire to give her a call and then rejoins Nate, all smiley about how he's helped her this morning. Looking into her eyes, Nate tells her he's always there. The cozy vibe grows as they compliment each other, make plans to have dinner, and hug goodbye. In the hospital in Los Angeles, Nick distracts Sharon with a candy bar. They both can't stop wondering why Noah was out in that canyon so far from where he's been staying. It doesn't feel right, Nick say of the accident and Noah's attitude leading up to it. He sounded nervous when they talked. Sharon agrees he was weird about them coming to visit. The nurse appears to say Noah's in his room and they can see him. Walking into Noah's room, Sharon falls apart in Nick's arms as they lay eyes on their son. Noah's entire head is bandaged and he's on a breathing apparatus. Sharon weeps and wails, "Oh my God, what has happened to our son?" Wednesday, October 15, 2025, The Young and the Restless. Today on The Young and the Restless, Claire stands her ground, Victoria and Nate grow closer, and Nick arrives in LA just as Noah emerges from surgery. The camera pans across a sunny Los Angeles cafe patio. A soft breeze stirs the palms, but Claire's mood is anything but calm. She sits alone at a small table, sipping an iced latte, her phone open to a half-written message to her mother. She hesitates before typing, "I'm okay, Mom, I just need time." But before she can hit send, a familiar voice interrupts her thoughts. "Claire," Kyle says softly. Her head snaps up. He's standing there, Kyle Abbott, holding a bouquet of bright lilies. His eyes are tired, his shirt wrinkled from the red-eye flight, and his expression is one of desperate hope. Claire's frown deepens. "What are you doing here?" Kyle smiles sheepishly. "I flew out to bring you these." He offers the flowers like an apology wrapped in color, but Claire doesn't take them. She folds her arms, unimpressed. "You flew all the way from Genoa City to hand me flowers?" she asks, her tone sharp but weary. He shrugs. "Victoria told me where you were staying." Claire's jaw tightens. Of course she did. Kyle doesn't notice her anger at first, he's too focused on his mission. "I just needed to see you," he says quickly. "Harrison's been having nightmares, he misses you, he keeps asking when you're coming back." Claire's lips tremble slightly, but she steadies herself. "I told you I needed space," she says. "You said you'd respect that." Kyle nods but presses on, his voice growing more emotional. "I know, I just feel like I drove you away and now you're—" His eyes drop. "You're doing all this with him." "Him," she repeats. "You know who I mean," Kyle snaps, his tone turning defensive. "Holden Novick, you barely know the guy, Claire." Claire exhales, her patience thinning. "I'm not doing this with Holden, I'm doing this for myself, that's what you never understood." He looks her over, noticing her slightly messy hair and the faint glow on her cheeks. His jealousy slips out before he can stop it. "You look like you had a late night." Claire gawps at him. "Wow," she says with disbelief. "So that's where we are now." Kyle winces. "I didn't mean it like that." "Sure you did," she replies, standing up. "And you wonder why I needed space." She starts to gather her things, but he reaches out. "Wait, please, just hear me out." Before she can respond, Holden walks in, his relaxed smile lighting up the cafe. "Hey, Claire," he says, ready to hit the trail. Kyle glares at him, stepping slightly in front of Claire. "We're in the middle of something." Holden raises an eyebrow. "Seems like she doesn't want to be." "Kyle," Claire says firmly, "this isn't your scene anymore, I made my choice." Kyle turns to Holden. "You interrupted a private conversation." Holden doesn't flinch. "Then maybe you should have had it somewhere private." Claire sighs, rubbing her temple. "That's enough, both of you." She turns to Kyle. "If you came all this way to guilt trip me, you can go right back home." Kyle looks hurt. "I just wish you felt you could do this journey with me instead of a guy like him." Claire shakes her head, speechless. "Goodbye, Kyle." Back home, the morning buzzes quietly at Crimson Lights. The smell of roasted coffee lingers in the air as Victoria walks in, visibly tense. She spots Nate at a corner table with his laptop. He looks up and instantly senses her mood. "Hey," Nate says softly, closing his computer. "You look like you've had a rough morning." Victoria exhales. "Noah was in an accident, he's in surgery in LA." Nate's expression shifts from warmth to concern. "Is he going to be okay?" "We don't know yet," she says, her voice breaking slightly. "Nick flew out to be with Sharon." Nate stands and gestures for her to sit. "Come here, sit with me." She slides into the booth, clutching her coffee cup like it's the only steady thing in her world. It's just been one thing after another. I feel helpless. Nate listens carefully. Then, trying to shift her thoughts, he says, Amy and I are setting up a scholarship fund at Memorial in Damien's name. It's been healing in a way. You might want to do something similar for Cole. Victoria smiles faintly. I was thinking the same. Claire's team at Fairview did a lot for her. Nate nods. Speaking of Claire, how's she doing? Victoria hesitates. She's in Los Angeles. She needed time away from Genoa City and from Kyle. Nate sits back. I heard they broke up. She tried, Victoria admits, but she just couldn't get there emotionally, and now she's spending time with Holden Novick. Nate grimaces. That guy gives me a bad feeling. Slick, but something's off. Funny, Victoria says. Kyle said the same thing, and I might have told him where to find her. Nate blinks. You sent Kyle to her. I just thought maybe seeing him would help her realize what she really wants, Victoria says, twisting her coffee cup. But now I'm not so sure I did the right thing. Nate rests his hand on hers. You were trying to help your daughter. That's what mothers do. Victoria's lips curve into a small, grateful smile. Thank you, Nate. You always find a way to calm me down. He leans closer. You don't give yourself enough credit. Their eyes linger a beat too long before Victoria looks away, cheeks slightly flushed. So, dinner later. Absolutely, Nate says, his smile deepening. I'll bring the wine. The sterile hum of machines fills the hospital waiting area. Sharon sits slumped in a chair, her head resting on Nick's shoulder. He strokes her hair gently as she stirs awake. Hey, Nick murmurs, you dozed off. Her eyes snap open in panic. I fell asleep. Oh God, what if something happened while I... SHH, Nick says softly. It's okay, he's still in surgery. Tears well in Sharon's eyes. I don't think I can do this. Not again, Nick. Not another hospital room, not another accident, not another. She breaks down, covering her face with trembling hands. Why does this keep happening to us? Nick wraps his arms around her. We're not going to lose him, he says firmly. We've made it through worse, Sharon. We'll make it through this. Sharon clings to him, sobbing quietly. He's our boy, our little boy. Nick swallows hard. He's strong, Sharon. He's going to fight. A nurse steps into the waiting area. Mrs. Newman. Sharon stands immediately. Yes, how is he? The nurse smiles gently. The surgery went well. He's stable. We're moving him to recovery now. Sharon gasps, her knees nearly buckling. Thank God, thank you so much. She grabs her phone, texting frantically, Noah out of surgery, stable, thank you God. Nick exhales deeply, emotion flickering across his face. Our boy made it. But Sharon isn't calm yet. He's not out of the woods, she whispers. We have to pray for a miracle. Claire sits with Holden now, calmer but still tense. I can't believe Kyle just showed up, she says, shaking her head. He flew across the country just to tell me I'm wrong about my own life. Holden sips his coffee. He's still in love with you, I get it. I'm not angry about that, Claire says softly. I'm angry that he thinks he can fix me by hovering over me. Holden leans closer. So, are you upset that he came or upset that you don't feel what he wants you to? Claire looks at him, searching for the truth inside herself. Maybe both. Holden reaches across the table, taking her hand. Then you're being honest, that's what matters. She smiles weakly. I don't regret coming here, Holden. I needed this. I needed to breathe again. Holden grins. And you still think I'm a good tour guide? The best, she replies with a faint laugh. Unbeknownst to them, Kyle stands outside the cafe, watching through the glass, pain etched across his face. He snaps a photo of the flowers still sitting on the table, untouched, and walks away, his jaw tight. Victoria finishes her coffee and checks her phone. No message from Claire. She sighs. Give me a sign, sweetheart, she mutters. Nate returns from a call. Everything okay? Just worried about her, Victoria admits. And Noah, it feels like everyone I care about is breaking at once. Nate smiles softly. Then it's a good thing you've got me. Victoria laughs lightly. You're dangerously charming, Nate Hastings. Dangerously, he teases. I'll take that as a compliment. As they share an unspoken moment, she reaches for her purse. Dinner at 7. It's a date, he says. Their eyes meet again, this time with undeniable warmth. Later that night, Sharon and Nick enter Noah's hospital room. The beeping of monitors is steady, but the sight before them is devastating. Noah's face is wrapped in bandages, tubes run from his arms and nose. His chest rises and falls shallowly. Sharon gasps and covers her mouth. Oh my God, what's happened to our son? Nick steps forward, brushing Noah's hand gently. Hey buddy, we're here. Sharon sinks into a chair, tears falling freely. He was just fine last week, she whispers. He said he was happy. Nick frowns, then why was he driving out in that canyon alone? Sharon shakes her head. The police said he lost control, but something doesn't feel right. Nick nods grimly. It doesn't. He sounded nervous when I talked to him, like he was hiding something. Sharon clutches his hand. What if someone did this to him? Nick's expression hardens, then we'll find out who. The camera lingers on their intertwined hands, the strength of two parents bound by love and fear, before panning back to Noah, still form. His finger twitches ever so slightly, a sign of life and maybe the start of new questions. Musical note, emotional piano music plays as scenes intercut. Kyle stands at his hotel balcony, staring at the LA skyline, whispering, I'm not giving up on her. Claire gazes out over the ocean with Holden beside her, whispering, I need to find myself before I can find anyone else. Victoria looks in the mirror, touching her necklace, lost in thought about the line between motherly love and meddling. Nate smiles at her text, dinner sounds perfect. And in the hospital, Noah's monitor beeps steadily, until one sudden flicker makes Sharon jolt up, shouting his name. Next time on The Young and the Restless, Victoria's guilt deepens, Kyle makes a shocking confession, and Nick discovers something disturbing about Noah's crash that changes everything. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, so please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and don't miss any updates.